Hi everyone, this is my first video regarding PowerShell in the wild. I wanted to provide some real-world examples of how PowerShell can be used to kind of optimize your environment to provide new functionality where it doesn't exist today. So let's jump right in. What I've done is I downloaded and installed Oracle VirtualBox. It's free, so you can install it on multiple platforms. Inside that, installed Server 2016 Standard, and I'm going to use that to illustrate some of the PowerShell functionality. This isn't really for beginners, but I'll explain exactly how everything is working and why it's important. Okay, so first what I've done is I've installed Server 2016 Standard. Once you boot up the operating system, you've created your own account, you'll see the Server Manager window pop up. What you can do is you can go to Manage, Server Manager Properties, and check the Do Not Start Server Manager automatically at logon, so it doesn't pop up every time you boot up your operating system. So we'll check that, click OK, and then we'll close out that window. What you can do is then go to this little search window down here and type in PowerShell. Okay, so you'll see the 64-bit version here, Windows PowerShell. We'll right-click that, run as administrator. And if you ever wanted to get back to Server Manager, there's a couple ways to do it, but I tend to lean towards doing everything from the shell, wherever possible. One other thing is I chose an OS, Server 2016, with a GUI, just to illustrate how things are done in a more graphical environment. I do not prefer a graphical environment, but I will be uploading videos in both more of a core environment as well as an environment that has a graphical user interface for those that are more comfortable with that. So anyway, I've launched my PowerShell session as an administrator, and if you wanted to get back to Server Manager, all you have to do is type in Server Manager, like so, and it'll pop up. So don't worry, you can get it that way, or you can go to your desktop in the GUI and find it there. Let me clear my screen here. Okay, so the objective here in this video is to illustrate how you can use PowerShell to monitor services or certain processes that you suspect to be a problem within your operating system. Problem meaning they're taking up too much system resources. Okay, so today's video will focus on monitoring and reporting on how much memory working set that a given process or a given service may be consuming. And this script that I'll show you in a moment can be used for both. There's just some tweaking that needs to happen. So first, let's look at what processes are running on this brand new image of Server 2016 Standard. And to do that, we'll type an alias called GPS, which is an abbreviated form of get-process. And what we can do is GPS for get process, and then we'll do a sort, and we'll do it by WS. So we'll sort working set descending. Working set hyphen descending. Okay, so now we're looking at the running processes inside this virtual machine, and we can see that it's sorted in descending order, and we can see that there's a process called search UI, and that process is consuming currently 143,936K. Okay, and let's say it was consuming more than that. Let's say it's consuming 4 gigs or 2 gigs. Again, we're using this just as an example. Okay, so let's say that it's consuming 143K and it's a problem for your operating system. In other words, that is the process that's causing your operating system to slow down or halt completely. Okay, so we have a couple of options here. What we could do is we could kill that process potentially, stop that process. First, we would want to research and find out what that process is, what the dependencies are, and if killing it is a good idea. But for the purposes of this video, what we can do is alert ourselves if that process consumes more than X amount of working set memory. So now let's look at the PowerShell script. And I've kind of changed some of the wording here, and some of the values that we're monitoring for the purposes of this video, so you can see the whole message there. So let me just go through line by line and explain what this script is doing. So if you look at the first line here, I'm going to highlight it. So log file exists is just a variable, and it says get event log list. So it's going to get all of the events in list format where the display name, the log display name, equals my new application log. So it stores if there's any application logs that exist in Event Viewer with the log display name my new application log, it'll store it inside this variable. Then there's a conditional statement here. It says basically check to see if there's a log named my new application log, to see if it exists. Okay? See if it doesn't exist. That's what the exclamation point here is for. So essentially it's if it doesn't exist, if my new application log doesn't exist, then do this. Create new event log. So that's going to create a brand new event log under the application logs called my new application log. Now if for some reason it exists already, it'll throw those errors into what's null here. So it won't show any on-screen errors, and it won't produce any errors anywhere else that you can see. Okay? So let's say that the log file does not exist yet. It'll create it. Then it goes to this next statement here. If get process search UI, so it's saying find this process called search UI where object, and this is the object, the GPS or get process search UI, that's the object, and it's passing these arguments here, where object working set is greater than 100,000K or 100 megabytes. Okay? If it finds that the working set value is greater than 100 megabytes, then it does this next line. It executes this next line. Write event log, log name application, source, my new application log. So it finds this application log. It creates a informational log with the event ID of 1. Again, these are all things that we've specified. And insert this message in the event. Message search UI has exceeded WS threshold. And what that'll do is it'll create a new event under the application log stating that this particular process, search UI, has exceeded the memory working set threshold. After that is logged to the event viewer log under application log, you can include in your script for PowerShell to send an alert email to any recipients or distribution list that you want it to go to. And we'll continue that in the next video.